Great question. I've been having a lot of conversations recently about long form content versus short form content. And I think that it's something really relevant to what era of history we're in. And I mean that in every sense. The internet is still a baby, it's still very young. It's probably in its like pre-teen years right now. And we're beginning to recognize the impact of the attention span. We all have such a short attention span. Basically, everybody has ADHD at this point. And we're all just like distracted. And it's one of those things that, especially with the historical events that are happening pretty much daily at this point, there's not a cohesive mental state that we are able to get to take action in a directed way. AKA, it's ridiculous to me that there hasn't been a unified movement towards shifting political dynamics or, you know, bringing in consequences for people we found out are super toxic, that kind of thing. And I think it's attributed to a lot of things, but I think the distractedness of our eyes and our minds is a huge piece to play in that. And I'm not trying to go down the political rabbit hole with that. Really, what I'm recognizing is that creatively, the long form format of content creation is a lot healthier to be in. And it's a battle. It's not something that's easily done, aka the ego and the brands and everything wants the short form. And so you have to be in short form mode. And I think this is important to touch on. It's not that we're leaving short form. It's not that we need to reject short form. It's not that we need to not be thinking about short form. We have to be, in a way, because everything, basically, if you run a business, you are a social media content creator now, which is terrible. And I hate that for all of us. But it's the truth of the matter. If you run something of some sort of business, you are a content creator. Even people who run big businesses, they have to hire, well, especially for people who run big businesses, they have to hire for that. And so it's essential for it to get into our headspaces that we have to figure out how to streamline and build structure around how we're creating short form content so that it's not eating away at our lives. And obviously there's plenty of people who figured out how to do this. There's plenty of people who are doing this, and the conversation is so large that the more interaction we're having with that concept, the better for all of us. AKA, the more we can refine that, the healthier it becomes. And I think a huge piece of it is shifting more towards long form. Why? Long form, going to places like YouTube, you're bringing an intention. And I think that's the baseline factor of it all. AKA, when I'm making a video like this, even this video right now, I have the time to sit with it and unpack it and unpack the ideas that I'm bringing to the table. With short form, I have about 10 seconds to catch your attention, and then maybe 20 seconds to really pull you in, and then maybe another 20 seconds after that to sell you on something. And not that that's bad, and that's definitely a skill we should learn to hone, because again, that's how a lot of us are making our money. And also, it doesn't leave space for the human. It doesn't leave space for the human body and psyche and emotional body to sit with things, to process things, to absorb things, and to take action out of that patience. That's not something that is technological, that's biological. We have a technology. The body's biology is a technology. It's at a much higher frequency space than anything technical. The technical stuff is just trying to catch up to it. We have to listen how and integrate the emotional body and the physical body into our relationship with this technology. If we don't listen to those things, the technology will take us over and it will run us, right? So I think pacing down is really important. Pacing our attention span down, and I think that's a huge aspect of long form content that's really valuable. That's why long form content is really valuable. One, it's valuable for the creator. Long form content is really valuable for the creator because, again, you have time to sit with your art. I've been watching a lot of photography content recently about how to take better photos and how to think about photography in this digital age. And a lot of what's coming through is basically that aesthetics do not override the present moment. There's that moment in The Secret Life of Walter Mitty where the photographer is capturing this. He's a photographer capturing images for a magazine, and he's up in the mountains, and he's got this perfect moment, and he doesn't capture it. And this scene is basically him referring to the fact that if the present moment is alive enough and I'm in that moment, I don't want to break that moment because of the camera. And this is something that I've really been working with the past few years as I've grown in my content creation and influencer and the whole thing in the sense of YouTube and social media and all that sort of stuff. It took me a while to recognize that actually wasn't serving me, that I really got into photography because I liked the art form, and I need to ratchet back my relationship to the online space and the short form space so that I can really reimagine why I'm in it in the first place. I'm in it for storytelling. I want to tell stories that have soul impact. I don't want to just have impact of a sale or impact of a dopamine rush. I want it to land somewhere in the body. And I think that that's something that if that can guide us, and if that can guide me, and I slip in and out of that all the time, I'm still really working with it, that will lead to a lot healthier relationship to what content is, and a healthier relationship to content creation, to creating art, to creating something of presence. It's right. I'm present in that story. I'm present in the idea I'm sharing. I'm taking time with it, and I'm not rushing the process. I feel the human in that. When I feel creators creating like that, I feel it differently. It impacts me differently. I see them differently. I have a much higher respect for them differently. A different level of respect for them and how they're showing up. And it's because I want to show up in that way, and they're inspiring me to drop back into my own body and be like, wait, right. I'm rushing. Slow down. Take a deep breath. Oh, okay. How am I engaging in this? And it also, the long form content also helps the audience, right? If you're on YouTube and if you're going to a long form content platform, you are literally intentionally going to slow down, to drop in, to be present, to really absorb something. And maybe that's not the case for all of how you interact with it, but for the most part, like if I going to YouTube, I'm putting something on almost like a podcast. I'm listening to it while I'm working, or I'm listening to it while I'm drawing, or I'm listening to it while I'm absorbing things. So it slows down your relationship to what information you're absorbing. And again, that's the human aspects that we're missing with this swipe short form content era. It's like we need to not forget that our body's design is not for fast-paced dopamine. It's designed for slow-paced integration. And I love that. I want to live in that kind of lifestyle. And we can use the technology to create infrastructure that will create that slower pace, right? The technology is here for us to create that slower pace, but we, the people, have to show up with our intention and say, hold on, we like this, but we need to slow it way down. And this is actually already what's happening politically with the AI stuff. It's like there's such a pushback towards the AI, what's the word? There's such a pushback towards the AI evolution and the AI integration, aka the big corporations are trying to really integrate AI into everything we do. And we can all kind of see what's going on with that. We're like, whoa, hold on, slow down with this. This is a big thing. Like, we don't need to rush this process. We don't want to rush into something we don't agree to. We don't want to rush into this whole like Tron-esque cyberpunk thing where everything's monitored and everything's watched. Like we all watch Blade Runner. We all watch these movies. Hold on, let's slow down. Let's talk about this. Let's look at this. Let's take 20 years and figure out what to do with this thing, right? And I'm not saying that's necessarily what's going to happen, but we the people do have the intention. The intention is what leads everything in the world, everything in life, everything in our own human existence and experience, and we run that. The people who own everything does not run that. They want us reactive, not intentive, like in the sense of like they want us reactive because if we aren't reactive, we are intentional. And if we are intentional, they have less control over us. So what I'm saying is, how do we actively use the social media platforms in an intentional way? I need to slow down more. So instead of going to Instagram 4, 5, 6, 7 times a day. Let me go to Instagram twice a day and YouTube 3 times a day. If I'm going to absorb content like that, let me go to YouTube to absorb things that I can draw to instead of scrolling on my phone for 45 minutes. Let me go learn about an art form in a slower way where somebody's taking the time to explain an idea versus swipe, see something interesting for a second and swipe on because it's not the mode that my brain's in. Let me down-regulate my brain with the use of a different social media platform. The social media stuff is here, and it's not something that we can just like, it's like breaking a habit or an addictive substance. It's like you can't just quit smoking tobacco because you decided to. I mean, some people can and shout out, love that. But it's like you have to ease out of it because your body's been utilizing that to support you in some way, right? So it's like you can't just dip out and act like you're not going to have repercussions. How do we ease that repercussive cycle and intentionally work that repercussive cycle? Just like you're working with an addiction. Because it is an addiction and we all know that, but how do we think about that in the same way of like, oh, let me just go to YouTube for long form instead of Instagram for short form. And let me go to YouTube to create long form versus thinking I have to chase the Ks on Instagram, the 8, 20K, 10K, whatever, 30K, whatever, to feel like I've got some sort of clout. Who cares? YouTube has a lot more power when it comes to its follower count because if somebody's watching you on YouTube, they are there and they are invested and they want to be there. It's a warm lead versus a cold lead. Instagram is all cold leads. YouTube is a warm lead place. If somebody's watching your videos, it's because the algorithm sent them something because the algorithm knows it's going to like something along your content, or they specifically searched it and the algorithm's like, yo, they're going to like this person. They're going to like this person's longer form content. It's a warmer lead. So then if you are going to sell something, if you do say, hey, at the end of the video, you know, blah, 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 here's my offering, here's my product, here's my thing, check it out, links in the bio, that warm lead is actually going to turn into more sales if there's more of you on YouTube versus Instagram. So the more I think about it and the more I sit with this concept and the more I talk with my own clients and my own friends about social media and how it's looking and what it's looking like, the more I'm just like, we all just need to transition over to long form content. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know how you feel about this. What do you think again, the idea shouldn't be let's be on content. Like the idea should be let's get back into the earth. Let's get back offline. Let's get off our computers. Let's get off our phones. Let's get off this thing. Let's be in community. Let's be in person. Let's be in the earth. That's the intention. And we have to be active in every plane, right? We have to be active in the fact that the internet has become something that's so strong, and we have to wean ourselves off of it. And if we don't do that intentionally, it will be done to us retroactively. And either we will have to be seriously plugged into it, or it'll come with some compromise. So slowing it down, slowing down our dopamine receptors, being more intentional with how we're showing up, being more intentional with how we're listening, what we're absorbing for our dopamine. Is it uplifting dopamine or is it negative dopamine? Uplifting dopamine meaning longer form content, you're absorbing something you're going to learn, you're going to integrate into your life, you're going to bring into your physical world, versus short form content, which is unhealthy dopamine, which is just like rah, 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 rah. Maybe you got an idea, but you probably are going to forget it because you were on Instagram for 45 minutes and what? Like you exactly. Yeah, let me know what you think about this. Let me know obviously we all think this, we all are like, yes, in agreement of this, but like, give me your ideas, give me your thoughts. What else do you think is alive in this conversation for you? What else are you seeing in your personal relationship to all this? Digging into more of these concepts more in the coming videos, and I'm really enjoying, again, like exactly what I'm saying, slowing down, bringing ideas to life and into my own conscious awareness and sharing that so more of us can be having these conversations. Chat with you soon and be easy. Stay up.